Hello everybody.
Good evening, hello.
Good, hope everyone's okay. Just had a nice chat to my cousin Margaret. Hello Margaret. And some good news that her sister, also my cousin Marilyn's out of hospital and staying with one of her daughters. So lots and lots of love to Marilyn, and everybody can ask everybody to pray for Marilyn because she's been a bit poorly, but she's better now and not got the virus, or at least not as far as we know, which I suppose is what we all say.
Good.
That's always good, yeah. So yeah, lots of love to you both and keeping you all in prayer, yeah. So while I was out walking today, funny really, a memory came back of a holiday that I had with my parents in a caravan in a Sprite Alpine. Pretty small little caravan really, smaller than probably what we go away in, and there were 5 of us in it. And this particular holiday that I remembered, we were on the South Wales coast because my mum's Welsh from the valleys, so we used to go to Wales quite a bit. And it was the site was on a farm, and it was nearish Tenby. I think it was actually Saundersfoot was the nearest place, and I can remember it quite clearly. And there was a farm site right at the top of cliffs, quite steep cliffs. Obviously back then the sites were nothing like they are now. But what was amazing about it was that there was an extremely steep path down the cliff through trees, so it wasn't sort of exposed. It was a very poor path, quite slippery and rocky, and there'd be odd steps cut through. It wasn't at all easy, but it did have trees and things, so you could grab onto things as you went down and up. And once you got down, and it took quite a while to get down, you basically were in this bay, and my memory is that was the only pathway down to the bay, and the only people who could get there effectively was a private beach for the site. Now I suspect that probably wasn't true, but that was my memory of it, and certainly I don't remember it being busy. Anyway, we had some great weather, because you always have good weather in your childhood, don't you? And but I remember one day we were all down there having an absolutely lovely time. We used to go down for the whole day, and all of a sudden, out of absolutely nowhere, this terrifically heavy rainstorm came through. I suspect that it must have been coming from across the land, and we couldn't see it because the cliffs were so high and we were underneath them. So it went from sort of bright blue skies and bright sunshine through to torrential rain within seconds, really. Suddenly these huge drops came out of the sky, and so, you know, Mum and Dad shouted, "Right, everyone grab something and get back to the caravan." So we all shot up, and it was just pandemonium. I mean, people were being polite. We were going up singly in single file because there was no other way to do it. But all this muddy path just turned into a torrent. It was muddy, people were slipping over flat in their face, but somehow we were all laughing about it. Nobody actually felt unsafe. And as you were going up, there were people standing at various places, grabbing your hands and sort of taking you up and sort of throwing you up to the next adult who'd sort of drag you along a bit further. And some of the people who were really struggling, some of these helpers, just self-made helpers, would go down and give them a hand and pull them through. And so we were all sort of brought back, if you like, to safety. And I do remember that we didn't have an awning at that time, but we did have a toilet tent with one of those awful bucket and chuck it loos in, which we weren't supposed to use very often, and being children we managed to get through the night, so that was okay. And I remember Dad didn't have a key and Mum did, but Mum stayed helping the tail enders up. So when we got back, myself, my 2 brothers and my dad, we all had to hide in the toilet tent to keep out of the rain while Mum came back with the key. But yeah, so, and I was thinking about, you know, being held by hands stretching out and lifting us and pulling us to safety, if you like. And yeah, it just, you can probably see where I'm going now. It reminded me really that Jesus puts out his arms, and we've talked about being under the shadow of his wings and with his arms underneath us, and he rescues us really and saves us with his hands. And so that was what that picture of the hands and people going down and helping people who are in trouble and lifting them up reminded me of. And there's a great verse in Jeremiah that talks about Jesus, or the Lord saving us. And yeah, heal me, O Lord, and I will be healed. Save me, and I will be saved, for you are the one I praise. So when we cry out that Jesus saves us, it's not just wishful thinking, it's actually true. So why don't we sing a song about being rescued and saved. This is a great classic Matt Redman song.
Good Lord. up our eyes, lift up our eyes to the giver of life. Lift up our eyes, lift up our eyes to the giver of life. You alone can rescue, you alone can save, you alone can lift us from the grave. You came down to find us, led us out of death. To you alone belongs the highest praise. You alone can rescue, you alone can save, you alone can lift us from the grave. You came down to find us, led us out of death. To you alone belongs the high. You alone can rescue. You alone can rescue. You alone can save. You alone can lift us from the grave. You came down to find us, led us out of death. To you alone belongs the highest praise. To you alone belongs the highest praise. To you alone belongs the highest praise.
Yeah, Lord, we thank you that you alone can rescue us, and thank you that many of us can stand here at this moment, wherever we are, and say, yes, Lord, you have rescued me from the situation that I'm in. Physically, maybe, emotionally, maybe, certainly spiritually. Thank you, Lord, that you don't just stretch out half a finger from heaven, but you actually came down to earth to rescue us and take us back to heaven. And I just pray today for my Auntie Marilyn, really a cousin, for Marilyn, my cousin, and I just thank you that she's with one of her daughters and that they're able to care for her. Lord, I thank you that you've brought her out safely. I just pray that you would heal her in every way, keep her safe, and as she also grieves the loss of Uncle Harold, her husband, just heal her, we pray. Pray too for Margaret and all the family, the girls. Thank you, Lord. Amen. Shall we say the Lord's Prayer together? That'd be great. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done, on earth as in heaven. Give us today our daily bread. Forgive us our sins, as we forgive those who sin against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For the kingdom, the power, and the glory are yours, now and forever. Amen. Amen. Thanks, everybody. Well, have a great weekend. We've just realised it's a bank holiday weekend.
It is.
So we're hoping, still not definite, because Phil's got quite a sore breastbone, sternum, from where he tripped and fell a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Everything else is healed, but we think he might have got a little bit of a crack on his sternum. So it will depend on whether that's better, whether we go and spend a night in the caravan in the garden with all the moving and
Hoping
humping.
to,
Yeah, we are hoping to. So yeah. So we'll actually, I think we might treat ourselves to an extra day off this weekend. So we'll record again on Tuesday evening, and I'll try and remember to put a link to the church service, which will be available on Sunday morning as well. So you might want to have a look at that if you're not doing anything else. Okay, take care, everybody. God bless. Have a good weekend. Bye.